My spidey senses weren't working. They're probably bringing in less than £1 million a month in terms of gate receipts. Well, you can't say this, but
it seems like, Kieran, on the face of it, that Everton have new owners.
Certainly a lot of progress has been made between Farhad Moshiri, who's the current owner of 94% of Everton, and that's enough to allow you to control the club, and the Friedkin Group, who were that interested in Everton Football Club that they lent £200 million. And that's on a first date, that's a bit of a sign of commitment. And then, for whatever reason, and what we have seen in the media is that Friedkin were concerned with 777, who had also lent a lot of money to Everton Football Club, but Friedkin were concerned there could be a Proceeds of Crime Act issue arising, and that comes with a lot of baggage, a lot of distraction, and they decided publicly to walk away. We then saw John Textor effectively take up prime position, and my spidey senses weren't working, and I'm not claiming this as a good call, but I did actually go on Sky in July and said, I don't think you can rule Friedkin out. And that was purely on the back of having run some companies in administration. If somebody puts in some funding and they don't take it out, immediately they walk away from a negotiation, they're still in the deal. Because they've still got skin. If I got £200 million still riding on this, I'm still around. So John Textor, I had reservations about, not least because I wasn't convinced he'd be able to sell his Palace shares as easily as he was claiming he could sell his Palace shares. You know the Palace inside track far better than I do, and you're fully aware that the other parties, the other owners, have a degree of influence over how he would be able to sell those shares. So it wasn't going to be an easy sell. And when we've discussed earlier this summer Everton Football Club, I think there was a concern that the wage bill, probably somewhere in the region of £13 million a month, they're probably bringing in less than £1 million a month in terms of gate receipts, and the egg timer was ticking in the background. If you've got 13 million going out and 1 million coming in each month, yes, you've got a bit of savings from the TV deal, from a couple of player deals and so on, but the money was going to run out, which meant that there was pressure on Farhad Moshiri to come up with a solution. And of the options, 777 would have been an absolute nightmare. There's things that we can say about 777. We often make reference to this thing called a Brownberg when it comes to owners. We're now in a position to pick up information from journalists and other interested parties who can say, well, you can't say this, but blah, 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 blah. And so WhatsApp information about 777 was not positive at all. So they're out of the way. Textor's out of the way he was mouthing off, and also the fact that he's had some shares suspended for saying things which he shouldn't have done. So he was a loose cannon. I don't think that Evertonians need a loose cannon in charge of them. So Friedkin already owns a football club of high stature in AS Roma. Everton are a high stature Premier League club, so he knows what works and what doesn't work. He knows what happens if he makes the fans unhappy, and the fact that he was still willing to come back, I think, is a positive. So it's 3 cheers from me in terms of Friedkin, and normally I'd only give 2, and in many deals that we've discussed in the past, but I think he is by far the best choice. He certainly has the resources to complete the stadium. He has the resources to pay the bills in terms of working capital. And if Everton do have any leeway in terms of PSR, and they've not got very much, I'll be perfectly honest, he has the wherewithal to be able to provide those funds when it comes to January as well.